Just when I thought I'd seen it all, Chris Hemsworth uses a treadmill as a weapon in this movie. So anyone that's ever told you that a little bit of cardio never hurt anybody, Extraction 2 might have something to say about that. What's up, guys? I'm Sully, and today I'm super excited because we're talking about the new Netflix action movie, Extraction 2. All you need to know about this one is the story goes like this. After barely surviving his grievous wounds from his mission in Dhaka, Bangladesh, Tyler Rake is back, and his team is ready to take on their next mission. Tasked with extracting a family who is at the mercy of a Georgian gangster, Tyler infiltrates one of the world's deadliest prisons in order to save them. So the first Extraction movie was really such a surprise. I feel like it had been a long time since I seriously enjoyed a Netflix movie, or one just came out of the woodwork and surpassed my expectations. And you watch the trailer for that film and they kind of make it look like just any old generic action movie. But kind of like with the John Wick films, you can have a simple and paper-thin story in movies like this and still have it be a success if the attention to detail comes through in all of the action sequences. I mean, the first John Wick film is essentially a guy gets wronged, so he kills everybody responsible for that wrongdoing. Extraction is just get in, rescue high-value person, get out. But when the action is so non-stop and is handled with such care, it doesn't matter what the plot is with a film like this. And that is exactly what Extraction does, and I was pumped to see that passion carry over into this new sequel as well. Now listen, I just gotta say, I love Chris Hemsworth. I'm a big fan of his, but him returning for this sequel is not the most important thing about this movie. It's that Sam Hargrave is back in the director's chair again. And if you know anything about him, he's another one of those guys that made their livelihood doing a ton of stunts in the movies before transitioning to being behind the camera. I mean, the guy was Chris Evans' stunt double as Captain America in the MCU, so you know he already won me over. If you're familiar with the first film, you know arguably the best thing about it is how many absolutely insane one-shot sequences there are. And oh baby, they are back in this movie. Just ridiculously impressive scenes with gunfights, angry mobs, and car chases that seem like they never end and you never want them to. The attention to detail and coordination that goes into all this shit is absolutely mind-blowing, and you can see all of the mini cuts they do throughout the sequences. Obviously, it's not actually all one long scene, but that doesn't make these moments any less impressive. They absolutely rip and pretty much define this movie. If you're a big action fan, just wait until you see that prison break scene. Chris Hemsworth gets lit on fire. That's all I'm gonna say. And sticking with Chris Hemsworth for a minute, he really embodies the badass role of Tyler Rake super well again. It just seems effortless. Obviously, all things considered, this character is pretty surface level and doesn't get much to work with development-wise. I mean, it's an action movie. We know what we're getting here. I will say, though, it's a much more personal mission this time around, so we get a peek behind the curtain on what makes this dude tick and what really motivates him to keep kicking ass and taking names. But that aspect of the film still leaves something to be desired, although you shouldn't be looking for the next Shakespearean tragedy in a movie like this anyway. One last thing I want to say about this movie before we wrap up, and unsatisfied is clearly the wrong word here because you guys can tell I enjoyed this movie, but I found myself less surprised this time around because that first one came out of nowhere and set the tone, so I kind of knew what to expect with a sequel. And that's not saying that this one is any less polished or entertaining than that first film, but that batshit action really caught me off guard and was so memorable that I went into this one with decently high expectations, and I think they were met, but I don't know if they were surpassed. But at the end of the day, if you're a big action fan and you enjoyed the first film, I see absolutely no reason why you won't enjoy the hell out of this movie. Everything that people dug about Extraction is in here again, and then some. Sure, it's not too deep and the story is still bare bones, but this is starting to look like a winning combination that will be tough to screw up. Chris Hemsworth, Sam Hargrave, exotic location, crazy action, and the ending this time around opens up a lot of possibilities for future installments. They've just completely won me over. As long as they keep making these movies, I will keep watching them. Extraction 2 gets a Sully score of 3.5 stars. So that's my review of the latest Netflix action movie. What's an action movie you think always deserved a sequel but never got one? My answer will always be Dread with Karl Urban. But let me know in the comments below if you're gonna go check this one out. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys at the next one.